Hi, good afternoon. My name is Kevin Van Ostenbridge. I'm the chairman of the Manatee County Commission, and I'm joined with Commissioner Vanessa Baugh, Commissioner George Cruz, and Steve Lichtauer, who is our Deputy Director of Public Safety. We're here for an update on Hurricane Ian. Manatee County continues its recovery with rapid deployment of recovery resources. Our first-in teams, damage assessment crews, and inspections teams are all hard at work. The FIT teams have cleared primary routes through the county and are working to clear secondary routes now. Inspections of special needs homes are a top priority so that we may evacuate or empty our special needs shelter. All inspections this week that were regularly scheduled for our inspectors will be rescheduled as we have them performing other duties at this time. Development Services is also working to identify specific permit types that will be storm damage related, and fees will be waived for those specific permits. And tipping fees at the landfill will also be waived. The Lena Road landfill will begin operation of extended hours, staying open until 6 p.m. starting Monday of next week, and there will be no tipping fees for storm debris for residents. You should, however, anticipate longer lines at the landfill next week, as we anticipate many residents will be showing up with debris. So the landfill will open Monday, October 3rd for garbage and recycling pickup as well, and our normal trash collection will resume next week starting on Monday, and it will be your normal schedule starting at that time. When you place your trash out of the curb, please make the effort to separate storm debris, which will be picked up by third-party vendors, from your normal trash. We want to be sure to separate those two. EMS is now responding in real time to all emergency 911 calls. It only took 2 hours for our EMS crews to clear the backlog from our queue that took place, that accumulated during the time that our EMS system was down. Utilities crews are deploying to restore portable water throughout Manatee County. Mobile home parks and Anna Maria Island and Longboat Key are, of course, priorities. Once your water is restored, if it has been turned off, then there will be a 24 to 48 hour boil order for your water. So you will need to boil your water for 24 to 48 hours if you lost water at some point. If you are out of power, it is likely that your neighborhood lift station is also out of power. And that means that's all over the county. And what that means ultimately is that it's much more difficult for us to move wastewater to our wastewater treatment plant. Because of that, we're asking customers countywide to try to limit the amount of water that you're putting into our wastewater system. So we're asking you to be cognizant of how frequently you take a shower, flush the toilet, wash your dishes, or do laundry, for instance. Over the past 5 days, Lake Manatee has been lowered, so the level is down, and we will likely continue to lower it for another couple of days as we continue to get seepage runoff coming into the lake, and the level continues to rise. But the lake is in very good shape, as is the dam. We have been hearing from our crews that are out in the field today, trying to restore traffic signals, clean up debris, chop and toss, road crews clearing the roads, that a lot of folks are not using a four-way intersection that had a traffic light at one time as a four-way stop. You need to treat an unsignalized intersection as a four-way stop when you approach it. This is for, of course, your safety, the safety of other drivers, but also the safety of our crews who are out there right now away from their families and away from their homes and are currently trying to restore our traffic signals and get our roads safe again for everyone. Some of these intersections, people are just flying right through them. Remember, our FIT teams, they're sort of our heroes right now. They're the ones that are restoring Manatee County to what it was 48 hours ago. We want to thank FPL. Fast work. We already have 40,000 Manatee County residents back on the power grid. At one point, we had about 60% of our residents were out of power. And so they're out there trying to prioritize some things like lift stations, like the island, for instance, Anna Maria and Longboat. We have a wastewater treatment facility in Palmetto that is currently without power, and they're trying to prioritize those places. Right away this morning, they got Manatee Memorial, Blake Hospital, Lakewood Ranch Hospital back into on the grid and had restored power to them first thing this morning. We're prioritizing schools, ALFs, And so they're working their way through the list, and they're working tirelessly, and we're very appreciative for all of the FPL workers and the out-of-town power workers who have come in to help us. For those who are curious, real quick, Piney Point. At this time, upon initial inspection, the site looks good. There are no significant concerns at Piney Point to report right now. We have backup pumps out there, but there is electricity to Piney Point. Lastly, I'll just remind you, as we spoke about a couple of days ago, Manatee County, we work towards preparing our staff and our administration for situations like this year-round. And so our staff and our administration were prepared. They have executed the plan as they should have up to this point, and the roads are being cleared, and power is being restored, and utilities are getting turned back on right now. We're going to bring in, of course, debris removal companies and vendors as soon as we can and start working to help you, remove debris from your property as well. Some of us fared better than others. The western part of the county did much better than did the eastern side of the county. We do have some residents out in Myakka who are hurting right now. We have crews who are out that way. We're really mobilizing a lot of our assets towards that side of the county to help those residents as much as we humanly possibly can. We'll make sure that those folks have shelter tonight. We'll make sure they have food. We'll make sure they have all the basic essentials out there. And we have no deaths to report in Manatee County at this time. We fared much better than our neighbors to the south. And what assets we can help them with, we are trying to help them to the south. But even though some of us, we look around and we don't have some of the things that we used to have, like electricity, but we're still doing much better than folks down in Fort Myers and even Northport and Inglewood. And so we keep them in our thoughts. We keep them in our prayers as well. And I hope that you will too. I'm going to hand this over to Steve Lichtauer. He is the Deputy Director of Public Safety, and he'll have more information.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just like to reinforce some of the comments the Commissioner made, that when we go into action here with public safety and emergency management, it's just not the county government. We engage all of the fire districts, the law enforcement of city and state, public works from each of the cities. We also pre-storm landfall through the help of Florida Division Emergency Management, had staff of theirs on site. We also had staff of FEMA here in the building on site prior to landfall. And what that did for Manatee County was allow us to get 3 or 4 days jump on all of our required paperwork. Them sitting in the Emergency Operations Center is assisting the county to better proper document and submit for reimbursement through the federal government. We've been working now through about 48 hours straight with our partners, as we call them. Again, city, state, federal partners to make the community safer. The Commissioner alluded to Myakka this morning. They probably took the blunt of the storms. We had over 100-mile-an-hour winds registered, had over 10 inches of rain in that area. Through the cooperation of the fire districts, law enforcement, 3 families were picked up that were stranded, could not get in or out of their property. Waters were flooding, and I think we'll see that for several days. They have been transported to another location. As he alluded, we will be putting them up for whatever period of time we need to. We're working with our partners at the Red Cross, the business community. We have a part of the plan that's called temporary housing. So if they need something more than a couple of nights, that's part of the plan. But I'd just like to thank all of our partners, whether city, county, state, and federal, because it's truly a teamwork. It's not one agency over another. With the support of the commission, anytime I reached out and need something through the administrator, they were backing us, and it was a great execution of a plan that we've practiced for. And we're so glad that we avoided the blunt of the storm. We do have damage. We have approximately 15 teams doing real-time damage assessment. They're coming in every hour of what we have to help the citizens, to better document, to be able to, for them to put their insurance claim in, and to help them relocate if we do have to. But again, I'd like to thank all the partners and administration and commissioners for their support, because it's one big team, not one individual. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. And I would just, in my last statement here, say that to set expectations, obviously, we're prioritizing schools, hospitals, ALFs, traffic signals when it comes to restoring power, as well as, the island and some wastewater treatment plants. So we love you all, and we're going to get to you, and FPL and our friends from up north that have come down to help. We're working hard to get to you. We just ask that you be patient, but be prepared that you could be without power another couple of days. So with that, I'll take questions if there are any.
So you were saying there's no major damages, but do you receive any report of damages from the residents, something that we can go share?
Steve, you want to address that?
We do know that at least one home is destroyed. We believe another one's in Mayak is destroyed. They go in levels destroyed, moderate, minor, and affected. The data I had so far was, like I said, one destroyed. I think it was 20 moderate and 40 affected. But we were just been out for less than now 8 hours of going home to home in an affected area. So each day we build on that list. I can tell you the teams that were in Mayaca is capturing the data, but due to the cell coverage out there, we won't have their data downloaded until tonight. But it's lifetime as long as we've got cell coverage, but we're collecting that as we speak, as they go from one residence or one business on. But what we have seen, as the Commissioner alluded, the west side of the county was least hit, and the east side was more wind and flooding.
So the one that was destroyed, what area was that?
The one that I know of was on the west side of town. I don't have the address with me, and I do know by being informed, one on the Mayak area was majorly damaged. To what extent, I don't know.
All right. Any other questions?
You reported no deaths. Have there been reports of any serious injuries?
Do you have reports of suicide?
Not that I know.
Not to this time, no. Yeah, we've been very blessed. All right. Thank you all so much.